Well, Catherine Weaver's character required kind of very high-tech approach to the space that the corporation is going to grow in, and Xerox Corporation. So I thought about a downtown high-rise building, which is surrounded by the downtown Los Angeles skyrise. When I started designing the set, the whole idea was that this corporation grows, and what we see here is a kind of a glass cubicle within a structure of a high-rise building, let's say on the 20th floor. So you see two layers of glass, and then we have hallways that lead to the elevator, and that elevator takes us to other sets, which one of the sets is the Turk, where we have the brain and the artificial intelligence experiment that Catherine Weaver is conducting. So what I wanted is I wanted to achieve a kind of minimalistic look of very modern high-tech architecture, but something which is settled, which is not too, I would say, upscale and too futuristic. The Turk is a hard drive that one of the characters in the first season, there was a young man who has been experimenting with computers and artificial intelligence, and he put together a computer that he named the Turk after the 19th century animatronic Turk who could play chess. And so his computer could play chess, and that's something that Catherine Weaver acquired. Josh Friedman, who is the executive producer and who is the brain of that series with James Middleton and John Wirth, when we had our first meetings about the corporation, the Xerox Corporation, and then what will be the sets, we talked about the Turk, we talked first about her space and what we needed from the first script and what they thought at that time we will need in the next episode. So we came up with the main room, with a conference room, hallways, elevators, and then we talked about the Turk, which would be this secret space in the basement of that building. And the whole idea of creating that, I mean, it could be a basement which is of any other building, but I thought that it has to have a link, a visual link with the space that we spent a lot of time in the series in the Xerox Corp. So you will see that it has very similar architecture elements. The columns, the floor, some of the concrete finish which we see in the hallways. It is the same what you have in the Xerox Corp, Weaver's office, the same is in the Turk, the same is in the server room. So it's a language, a visual language that is repeated because this is the look of the corporation. The biggest question was, how does the Turk communicate with us? And how do we show that in a visual sense? So I came up with this idea of creating projection, video projection on glass screens, which is part of the architecture of the Turk, and there we project all the images that Turk creates. So it's a very interesting episode where we actually, Weaver shows some of those video projections to a psychiatrist and asks him about questions, and there's a riddle, and he solved that riddle. It was a very interesting episode that the audience will see, and what we tried to figure out how, instead of just having a voice like Hal from 2001 speak, what kind of visual images we have. And once you see the set, you'll see that you project on glass, but you have reflections of those images on the faces of the people who are in the space. And I think this is an interesting way of showing how a computer can have its own intelligence and how he can project the images and messages to the people who are trying to build him and understand what he's saying and how he behaves. What's interesting is not only this building, but each episode is like a little movie. We have the standing sets, which is the Xerox Corporation, which is the Connors house, And then from time to time, we go to Ellison's house. But most of the episodes are little movies that are enclosed. The story happens only once in that episode. So we have a lot of very different locations and sets. Now I'm designing a Mexican village. We shot in the Palm Desert and we shot in Santa Monica Pier. So you have a lot of variety. We shoot downtown in Japanese restaurants. We created the Alpine Village from Northern California. So you have a whole variety of possibilities of looks. And I think that's what's challenging and interesting on this series.